let's get started with the first question. Question 1. What is the primary job of a project manager in Phase 3? Execute and complete tasks of the project life cycle. In Phase 3, a project manager's main gig is to make sure the team gets the job done, plain and simple. Thank you for your response. While it is true that a project manager's role in Phase 3 is to ensure that the team completes the tasks, there is more to it than just getting the job done. In this phase, the project manager is responsible for overseeing the execution of the project plan, monitoring progress, managing resources, and resolving any issues or risks that may arise. They also need to ensure that the project is delivered within the defined scope, budget, and timeline. So, the project manager's primary job in Phase 3 is not only to get the job done but also to effectively manage and coordinate all the activities to appreciate the correction. You're absolutely right. In Phase 3, the project manager's role is not just about getting the job done but also about overseeing the plan execution, managing resources, resolving issues, and ensuring delivery within scope, budget, and timeline. Gotta keep that whole ship sailing smoothly. Question 2. What activities take place in Phase 2 of the project life cycle? Make a plan. Phase 2, making a plan, is all about laying down the roadmap. Here, we create a detailed project plan, mark out milestones, build schedules, and crunch numbers for budgets. It's like plotting out the race before hitting the gas. Thank you for your response. You've provided a great description of the activities that take place in Phase 2 of the project life cycle. In this phase, project managers and teams work together to create a comprehensive project plan. This includes defining project goals, identifying key stakeholders, establishing project objectives, creating a detailed schedule, allocating resources, and developing a budget. The project plan serves as a roadmap that guides the project's execution and helps ensure that it stays on track. So, you're absolutely right that Phase 2 is all about laying down the roadmap and setting the foundation for the project's success. Now, let's move on to the final question. Question 3. In which phase of the project life cycle does a project manager hand off all remaining deliverables? In the closing phase, my friend. That's when we tie up loose ends, hand over the goods, and get that final stamp of approval. It's like crossing the finish line and passing the baton. Thank you for your response. You've provided a great description of the closing phase of the project life cycle. In this phase, often referred to as the project closure or project completion phase, the project manager wraps up all remaining deliverables and ensures that all project objectives have been met. This includes finalizing documentation, conducting final reviews, obtaining client or stakeholder approval, and transitioning any remaining tasks or responsibilities to the appropriate parties. It's like crossing the finish line and handing over the completed project to the stakeholders. Well done. Now, let's assess your readiness to proceed with the assignment. Based on your responses, it seems like you have a good understanding of the key concepts related to the project life cycle. Practice questions for foundations of project management. Embarking on a career in project management. What are the key skills and qualities of a successful project manager? What are the different career paths available in project management? What are the benefits and challenges of a career in project management? How can I prepare myself for a career in project management? Becoming an effective project manager. What are the core responsibilities of a project manager? What are the different leadership styles that a project manager can use? How can a project manager build and maintain effective relationships with stakeholders? How can a project manager motivate and inspire their team? The project management life cycle and methodologies. What are the different phases of the project management life cycle? What are the different project management methodologies? What are the advantages and disadvantages of each methodology? How can I choose the right methodology for my project? Organizational structure and culture. How can organizational structure and culture impact project management? How can a project manager adapt their approach to different organizational cultures? What are the key challenges of managing projects in a matrix organization? How can a project manager build a strong team culture? Additional resources. Project Management Institute, PMI, Project Management Body of Knowledge, BOK, Association for Project Management, APM. Can you explain the differences between waterfall, agile, and Lean Six Sigma project management methodologies? How can you blend different project management methodologies to fit the needs of a project? What are some potential challenges that project managers might face when adapting their approach to different organizational cultures? JJ answers. Practice questions for foundations of project management. Embarking on a career in project management. What are the key skills and qualities of a successful project manager? A successful project manager needs skills like leadership, communication, and organization. They gotta be able to rally the team, keep everyone on track, and make tough decisions when needed. Plus, they gotta be adaptable and ready to roll with the punches, cause things don't always go according to plan out there on the track. What are the different career paths available in project management? When it comes to project management, you got a few roads you can take. You could specialize in IT, construction, healthcare. There's a whole bunch of options out there. Or you could aim to climb that ladder and become a senior project manager or even a program manager, overseeing a whole bunch of projects at once. Just like in racing, there's more than one way to cross that finish line. What are the benefits and challenges of a career in project management? A career in project management comes with its perks, like the chance to lead, solve problems, and work with a diverse team. But hey, it ain't all smooth sailing. You gotta deal with tight deadlines, tough decisions, and sometimes, things just don't go according to plan. It's like street racing. There's highs and lows, but if you love the thrill, it's worth it. How can I prepare myself for a career in project management? To get ready for a career in project management, you gotta build up them skills. Get good at leading teams, communicating like a champ, and staying organized. Plus, you gotta learn about different project management methodologies and tools. It's like tuning up your engine before a big race. Becoming an effective project manager. What are the core responsibilities of a project manager? When it comes to being a project manager, it's all about hustling and leading like a boss. You gotta rally your crew, make sure everyone's on the same page, and bend the rules a bit to get that win. Just like on the streets, it's about talking the talk and negotiating like a pro. You gotta keep pushing forward, even when things get controversial, and make sure your team's always ready to race to that finish line. What are the different leadership styles that a project manager can use? Alright, when it comes to leading the crew, a project manager's gotta have some tricks up their sleeve. They can be firm like a chief, democratic like a diplomat, or hands-off like a coach. It's all about knowing when to rev it up and when to let the team do their thing. How can a project manager build and maintain effective relationships with stakeholders? Listen up. Building and keeping them stakeholder relationships is key to success. A project manager's got to be like a smooth-talking negotiator, keeping everyone happy and on board. It's about clear communication, staying transparent, and always having their back like family. How can a project manager motivate and inspire their team? Alright, when it comes to firing up the crew, a project manager's got to be the spark plug. They gotta lead by example, show appreciation, and keep everyone focused on that finish line. It's about pumping up the team, boosting morale, and making sure everyone's ready to hit the gas and go full throttle. The project management life cycle and methodologies. What are the different phases of the project management life cycle? Alright, check it out. How about this? IP every corner. Yep, that's right. I for initiation, P for planning, E for execution, and C for closure. It's like reminding yourself to hit every corner of that racetrack and no shortcuts allowed. What are the different project management methodologies? We got a few different methods in the toolbox: Waterfall, Agile, and Lean Six Sigma. Each one's got its own style and rules, but they all get you to that finish line one way or another. What are the advantages and disadvantages of each methodology? Here's the scoop: Waterfall's like driving straight down the track, steady and predictable, but it ain't so good for quick changes. Agile's like weaving through traffic, flexible and fast, but sometimes a bit chaotic. And Lean Six Sigma's like fine-tuning your engine, smooth and efficient, but can be a bit rigid. Each one's got its pros and cons, so you gotta pick the right one for your race. How can I choose the right methodology for my project? Choosing the right methodology is like picking the right tires for your race car. It depends on the track and conditions. You gotta look at your project goals, team, and timeline, then pick the one that'll get you to that finish line fastest and smoothest. Organizational structure and culture. How can organizational structure and culture impact project management? Organizational structure and culture are like the track conditions. They can make or break your race. A tight-knit crew and clear hierarchy can keep things running smooth, but if there's chaos and confusion, it's gonna be a bumpy ride. You got to adapt your strategy to fit the track you're on, just like in project management. How can a project manager adapt their approach to different organizational cultures? Adapting to different organizational cultures is like tuning your engine for different tracks. You gotta read the vibe, figure out what makes them tick, and adjust your strategy accordingly. Whether it's a tight ship or a laid-back crew, you gotta find the right gear to keep the project running smooth. What are the key challenges of managing projects in a matrix organization? Managing projects in a matrix organization is like navigating a busy intersection, lots of moving parts and potential collisions. You gotta deal with competing priorities, communication breakdowns, and turf wars between departments. It's like keeping all them racers in line on the track, tricky, but with the right skills, you can still come out on top. How can a project manager build a strong team culture? Building a strong team culture is like tuning up your engine, gotta make sure every part's working together smoothly. You gotta foster trust, communication, and respect among the crew. It's like building a family out there on the streets or the track, when everyone's got each other's backs, you can tackle any challenge that comes your way. Additional resources: Project Management Institute, PMI, Project Management Body of Knowledge, book, Association for Project Management, APM. Can you explain the differences between Waterfall, Agile, and Lean Six Sigma project management methodologies? Waterfall's like driving straight down the track, steady and predictable, but it ain't so good for quick changes. Agile's like weaving through traffic, flexible and fast, but sometimes a bit chaotic. And Lean Six Sigma's like fine-tuning your engine, smooth and efficient, but can be a bit rigid. Each one's got its own style, so you gotta pick the right one for your race. How can you blend different project management methodologies to fit the needs of a project? Blending project management methodologies is like mixing up your fuel for the race, gotta find that perfect blend for maximum power and efficiency. You can take a bit of Waterfall for structure, add in some Agile for flexibility, and sprinkle in some Lean Six Sigma for efficiency. It's all about customizing your approach to fit the street you're on and get that win. What are some potential challenges that project managers might face when adapting their approach to different organizational cultures? Adapting your approach to different organizational cultures is like adjusting your racing strategy for different streets. There's gonna be some bumps along the way. You might face resistance to change, communication breakdowns, or clashes in priorities. It's like navigating a tricky street, gotta stay focused and find the right tune to come out ahead. What are the key differences between the Waterfall, Agile, and Lean Six Sigma methodologies? Waterfall's like driving straight down the track, steady and predictable, but it ain't so good for quick changes. Agile's like weaving through traffic, flexible and fast, but sometimes a bit chaotic. And Lean Six Sigma's like fine-tuning your engine, smooth and efficient, but can be a bit rigid. Each one's got its own style, so you gotta pick the right one for your race. How can project managers determine which methodology or combination of methodologies to use for a specific project? Determining the right methodology is like having the right tune in your computer for street racing. It's all about optimizing performance for the current conditions. You got to assess your project's needs, team dynamics, and timeline, then pick the methodology that'll give you the competitive edge and keep things running smooth and fast, just like a finely tuned engine on the street. Can you provide an example of a project where the choice of methodology had a significant impact on its success or failure? Picture this: you got a project to develop a new hot rod. If you go with Waterfall, you might stick to the plan but miss out on feedback from the crew. Agile, on the other hand, lets you adjust on the fly, but it could lead to delays if you're not careful. The choice of methodology can make or break the race, so you gotta pick the one that suits your team and street best. Answers to your practice questions: Embarking on a career in project management. Key skills and qualities: strong communication, leadership, problem solving, organizational, and time management skills. Career paths: project manager, program manager, portfolio manager, project coordinator, project analyst. Benefits: high earning potential, job security, variety of industries to work in, opportunity to make a real impact. Challenges: long hours, demanding work, high stress levels. Preparation: get certified, gain experience, network with other project managers. Becoming an effective project manager. Core responsibilities: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling project resources to achieve specific goals. Leadership styles: authoritarian, democratic, laissez-faire, situational. Building relationships: active listening, clear communication, empathy, respect. Motivating and inspiring: setting clear goals, providing feedback, recognizing achievements, creating a positive work environment. The project management life cycle and methodologies. Phases: initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, closing. Methodologies: Waterfall, Agile, Lean Six Sigma, Scrum, Kanban. Advantages and disadvantages: Waterfall, structured, predictable, but inflexible. Agile, adaptable, responsive, but requires strong team communication. Lean Six Sigma, efficient, data-driven, but requires specialized training. Choosing the right methodology: consider project complexity, team size, organizational culture, and client needs. Organizational structure and culture impact can influence project goals, decision-making, communication channels, and team dynamics. Adapting approach: understand the organizational culture, identify key stakeholders, tailor communication style, and build relationships. Challenges in matrix organizations: conflicting priorities, unclear lines of authority, and communication breakdowns. Building strong team culture: foster collaboration, trust, and open communication. In this session, we will go through some questions to help you practice and reinforce your understanding of key concepts related to project management methodologies. We will start with 3 questions in a Q&A format. After that, we will assess your readiness to proceed with the assignment. Are you ready to begin? Question 1. What is the main advantage of Agile over Waterfall methodology? The main advantage of Agile over Waterfall is flexibility. Agile lets you adapt on the fly, making it easier to handle changes and deliver value quicker. It's like being able to switch lanes in a race. It keeps you ahead of the competition. Great response. You've highlighted one of the main advantages of Agile methodology over Waterfall. Agile indeed offers flexibility, allowing teams to adapt to changes and client feedback more effectively. This flexibility enables quicker delivery of value and helps teams stay ahead of the competition. Well done. Now, let's move on to the next question. Question 2. Can you describe the Waterfall project management methodology? Waterfall is like driving straight down the track. You go through each phase one after the other, with no turning back. You start with planning, then move on to execution, testing, and finally, deployment. It's a steady approach, but can be slow to respond to changes. Question 3. What is the next phase of the project life cycle after delivering the product? After delivering the product, you roll into the closure phase. It's like crossing that finish line. A time to wrap things up, celebrate the win, and move on to the next race. Great response. After delivering the product, the next phase in the project life cycle is the closure phase. This phase involves wrapping up the project, conducting project evaluation, celebrating the achievements, and ensuring proper closure with stakeholders. It's like crossing the finish line and preparing for the next race. Well done. To recap, we covered the main advantage of Agile over Waterfall methodology, the description of the Waterfall project management methodology, and the next phase of the project life cycle after delivering the product. Module 3 Challenge Graded Quiz. I sense 50 minutes. A sense 10 total points available. 10 total points. Question 1. Which term refers to the process of initiating a project, making a plan, executing and completing tasks, and closing a project? 1 point. A. Project management methodology. B. Agile methodology. C. Project life cycle. D. Waterfall methodology. Alright, listen up. The term that covers all those steps from start to finish is the project life cycle. So, the answer is C. Project life cycle. Question 2. Why should project managers always make a plan, phase 2, before executing and completing tasks, phase 3? 1 point. A. Because executing and completing tasks is crucial to creating a budget, setting a schedule, and determining roles and responsibilities. B. Because executing and completing tasks is crucial to understanding scope, cost, and timelines. C. Because creating a budget, setting a schedule, and determining roles and responsibilities is crucial to developing the project charter. D. Because creating a budget, setting a schedule, and determining roles and responsibilities is crucial to executing and completing tasks. D. Because creating a budget, setting a schedule, and determining roles and responsibilities is crucial to executing and completing tasks. Question 3. As a project manager, your team is creating a product that will require flexibility or changes are likely to occur. Also, tasks will overlap or happen at the same time as other tasks. Which project management methodology is the best for your project? 1 point. Linear methodology, iterative methodology, circular methodology, waterfall methodology. The best project management methodology for a project requiring flexibility and overlapping tasks is the iterative methodology. Question 4. Which answer best describes the waterfall project management methodology? 1 point. Created in the 80s. The waterfall methodology refers to being able to move quickly and easily through a project by combining and eliminating tasks. Created in the 90s. The waterfall methodology refers to being able to move quickly and easily through a project by working on many tasks at once. Created in the 70s. The waterfall methodology refers to the sequential ordering of phases, including initiating, planning, executing, and closing. Created in the 80s. The waterfall methodology refers to the sequential ordering of phases, including defining, measuring, analyzing, improving, and controlling. The best answer describing the waterfall project management methodology is created in the 70s. The waterfall methodology refers to the sequential ordering of phases, including initiating, planning, executing, and closing. Question 5. As a project manager, you start a project with concrete timelines and strict deliverables. What project management methodology should you use? 1 point. Scrum methodology, Control methodology, Waterfall methodology, Agile methodology. For a project with concrete timelines and strict deliverables, the most suitable project management methodology would be the Waterfall methodology. Question 6. What phase in the Lean Six Sigma methodology focuses on collecting data to look at the current process and locate exactly where the problems are? 1 point. Analyze, measure, control, define. The phase in the Lean Six Sigma methodology that focuses on collecting data to look at the current process and locate exactly where the problems are is measure. Question 7. While planning the project, a project manager considers possible delays, budget changes, and legal issues. What are they trying to reduce by considering these things? 1 point. Deliverables, risks, plans, resources. By considering possible delays, budget changes, and legal issues during project planning, the project manager aims to reduce risks. Question 8. Which of the following are project manager responsibilities during the execution phase? Select all that apply. 1 point. Handle communication for the team, manage the project's progress, do the majority of the work, make adjustments to the schedule, budget, and resources. The project manager responsibilities during the execution phase include, handle communication for the team, manage the project's progress, make adjustments to the schedule, budget, and resources. Question 9. As a project manager, you have gotten approval from your leadership team and planned the project from start to finish. What is the next step in the project phase? 1 point. Execute the project, close the project, initiate the project, make a plan. After getting approval and planning the project from start to finish, the next step in the project phase is to execute the project. Question 10. Which project management tool involves sticky notes or note cards to represent the team's tasks with categories like to do, in progress, and done? 1 point. Agile, Waterfall, Lean, Kanban. The project management tool involving sticky notes or note cards with categories like to do, in progress, and done is Kanban. Hey again. Now, you've got Waterfall and Agile methodologies in your project manager toolbox. Lean Six Sigma is one more you can add. It's a combination of two parent methodologies, Lean and Six Sigma. The uses for Lean Six Sigma are common in projects that have goals to save money, improve quality, and move through processes quickly. It also focuses on team collaboration, which promotes a positive work environment. The idea is that when your team feels valued, motivation and productivity increases and the whole process functions more smoothly. There are 5 phases in the Lean Six Sigma approach. They are define, measure, analyze, improve, and control, commonly known as DMAIC. DMAIC is a strategy for process improvement, meaning you're trying to figure out where the problems are in the current process and fix them so that everything runs more smoothly. The goal of each step is to ensure the best possible results for your project. Just like with Waterfall and Agile, there are more specific details for using DMAIC and the Lean Six Sigma approach. But what's great about the DMAIC process is that it can be used to solve any business problem. Let's break it down. The first phase is to define the project goal and what it will take to meet it. This first phase is very similar to the initiation phase of traditional project management. Let's take a real scenario to illustrate. Imagine that you are brought on as a project manager for a large travel company to help streamline and minimize customer service wait times that have been surging due to a recent sales promotion. Before you begin working on tackling the issue, you're going to need to define the project goal and talk to stakeholders about expectations for the project. In this case, the goal is to take average wait times down to less than 10 minutes on average compared to 30 minutes. Next, it's time to measure how the current process is performing. In order to improve processes, DMAIC focuses on data. Here you want to map out the current process and locate exactly where the problems are and what kind of effect the problems have on the process. Using our example, you're trying to figure out why it's taking so long for the travel company to address a customer service issue. To do this, you look at company data like average wait times, number of customers per day, and seasonal variations. Then you'll set a plan for how you'll get that data and how often to measure it. This could look something like having the company generate reports on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis. In other situations, you might have employees or customers fill out surveys or look at inventory, shipping, and tracking records, things like that. Once you have the data and measurements, you can move on to the next phase, which is analyze. Here, you'll begin to identify gaps and issues. In our example, after mapping out the process and data points, you may see that staffing is inadequate on days where customers are the highest. Data analysis is important for project managers regardless of which method you choose, and we will learn more about that in an upcoming course. From your data, you'll have a strong understanding of causes and solutions to get to the next stage, improve. Oftentimes, project managers may want to leap straight to this phase, but really projects in process improvements should only be made after a careful analysis. This is the point where you present your findings and get ready to start making improvements. In our example, this could be modifying staffing to address customer needs. The last step of this cycle is control. You've gotten the process and project to a good place, and now it's time to implement it and keep it there. Controlling is all about learning from the work you did up front to put new processes and documentation in place and continue to monitor so the company doesn't revert back to the old, inefficient way of doing things. To sum it all up, you can remember DMAIC like this: defining tells you what to measure, measuring tells you what to analyze, analyzing tells you what to improve, and improving tells you what to control. Lean Six Sigma and the DMAIC approach are ideal when the project goal includes improving the current process to fix complex or high-risk problems like improving sales, conversions, or eliminating a bottleneck, which is when things get backed up during a process. Following the DMAIC process prevents the likelihood of skipping important steps and increases the chances of a successful project. As a way for your team to discover best practices that your client can use going forward, it uses data and focuses on the customer or end user to solve problems in a way that builds on previous learning so that you can discover effective permanent solutions for difficult problems. There are many ways out there that break the flow of project management into digestible phases and approaches, all with the same end goal of accomplishing the desired outcome as smoothly as possible and delivering the best value. Like I said earlier, at Google we follow a lot of different approaches. For instance, an engineering team releasing a customer-focused product may primarily use Agile when creating the product, but decide to plug in some of the aspects of waterfall project management for planning and documentation. A customer service team might focus on using Lean Six Sigma to improve an experience for our users, like offering new features based on a recent analysis. But the team might develop parts of the code and roll out the features using Agile iterations and sprints to allow for change. Or one of our internal education and training teams may focus solely on waterfall project management to achieve a targeted goal of having all employees complete an annual compliance training. Here, waterfall makes sense since the requirements of the training program are fixed and so is the deadline and goal. The biggest takeaway is to know the various methods and tools to be able to confidently apply what works best for you, your team, and the end goal. There is no real prescription for how to execute a project perfectly because there are always pieces you can't 100% control. But the good news is, you can.